move to exercise 1.3. Exercise 1.3 and question number 1. Now what we have to do in question number 1, we have to prove that root 5 is an irrational. We have to prove root 5 is irrational, and I don't think any one of you will have any problem in solving or in proving that root 5 is an irrational number. So this you have to do yourself. Now moving to question number 2. Now what the question number 2 is, here again we have to prove. Now what we have to prove is 3 plus 2 root 5 is irrational. We have to prove this is irrational. In class 9th we have studied that whenever rational is multiplied by or divided or added or subtracted to rational, it always give an irrational number. Going by that, it means this is an irrational number. Now here we have to prove. So what we will be doing, we will again prove it by contradiction method. For that, we will suppose that 3 plus 2 root 5 is rational. It is a rational, and if it is a rational, it means it can be represented in the form P upon Q. So it becomes 3 plus 2 root 5 is equals to P upon Q, where Q is not equals to 0. And after that, removing common factors, so after removing all the common factors, let we get 3 plus 2 root 5 is equals to A upon B, where A and B are co-prime. So now up to here, it is clear that A upon B is a R co-prime, and it is in the form of P upon Q, hence it's a rational number. And let us see whole equation. Now here 3 is a rational number because only 3 is there. Now whatever the doubt is there, it is regarding 2 root 5. So what we will be doing, we will keep it here only on left hand side, and we will take 3 to right hand side. So we transpose 3 to right hand side, and this equation we get. On solving this, because these two are rational, so rational on subtraction or addition or multiplication or division gives rational. So you will get this result of this as a rational. Now doubt is there regarding left hand side, but right hand side we are very much sure it's a rational number, because on subtraction of these two we get a rational number. Now next step we'll be doing is we will have to remove 2 from left hand side. So for that we will divide both sides by 2. So this we get. Now rational number on division by a rational number again gives a rational number, so it also is a rational number. Now right hand side is completely a rational, whereas root 5, because we have proved earlier, and also we know that the prime the square root of prime number is a irrational number. So right hand side is a rational, whereas left hand side is a irrational number. Therefore our assumption is incorrect. Our assumption is incorrect. Hence 3 plus 2 root 5 is irrational. So it becomes an irrational number. This is how you have to prove question number 2. Now moving to question number 3. Now what question number 3 states, again in question number 3 you have to prove that they are irrational number, and the first one is 1 upon square root of 2. You have to prove these are irrational numbers. So again we will proceed in the same manner. We will consider it to be a rational, and after where Q is not equals to 0, and after removing or common factors, we get 1 upon root 2 is equals to A and P, where A and B are co-prime. When A and B are co-prime. Now, right hand side is rational. So what we have to do on the left hand side, we will be performing a rationalization here. We will be rationalizing the denominator. So for that, we have to multiply numerator and denominator by square root of 2. On solving this, right hand side is rational, left hand side is root 2 upon 2. So we have to remove this 2 from here. So we multiply both sides by 2. We get, so right hand side we get as a rational, whereas left hand side is an irrational number. Hence, again our assumption is incorrect, and 1 upon root 2 is irrational. Similarly, remaining two parts you can do yourself. First one is 7 root 5 we have to prove, and third one is 6 plus root 2 is an irrational number, and you can do it easily. I am very much sure you will be able to do it. Now moving to next topic of this chapter, and before starting the next exercise, that is your 1.4, we have to discuss one theorem, and what that theorem states is when we can say that the decimal representation of a rational is terminating or non-terminating, repeating. The next theorem says that how we can say that a rational number, the decimal representation of a rational number terminates or repeats. Let x be a rational number. X be a rational which can be represented in the form P upon Q, where P and Q are co-prime. So first thing which we have to do, we have to change the fraction, this fraction, into the lowest term. So this is the lowest term. So after changing a rational number into a lowest term, that means both P and Q becomes co-prime, and further they cannot be divided. And then we have to find prime factorization of Q, that is of denominator. We have to find the prime factorization of Q. And if the prime factorization of Q only have 2 and 5 in its prime factorization to the power n or m, where n and m are non-negative integers, then we can say the decimal representation of this rational number will be terminating. So I am repeating it. Let x be a rational number. First we have to change it into its lowest term, that is we have to make P and Q co-prime. Lowest term, we have to make them co-prime, and after that we have to check what is the prime factorization of Q. And if the prime factorization of Q has only 2 and 5 as its factor with whatever power m and n, where m and n are non-negative integers, then this rational number will have terminating decimal representation. Now let us take an example. Suppose I am dividing 3 by 10. Now 3 and 10 are co-prime. First and the foremost thing which you have to check is whether the fraction is in the lowest term. So both are co-prime, hence it is in a lowest term. Then we need not have to bother about numerator, but denominator we have to find the prime factorization. So the prime factorization is, hence the prime factorization of denominator are 2 are having a factors 2 and 5 only, hence this will give you a terminating decimal representation, and that is 0.3. Let us take few more example, and next is, now here we have to again check whether this will give a terminating. So first of all, check whether they are co-prime. Yes, they are co-prime. It is in the lowest form. Write down numerator as it is. Prime factorization of 8 is 2 to the power 3. Now you will say where the 5 is. 5 is here only, but with power 0. That is why it is non-negative integer. So when we say non-negative integer, includes 0 and all the plus value. Or we can say m is a whole number. M can be a whole number. So 0 and all positive value. So if you cannot see 5 there, then you put 5 to the power 0, and on dividing this you will get a terminating decimal representation, which comes out to be 0.375. You can check it yourself. Now let us take one more example. Let it be 13 upon 125. First of all, both of them are co-prime. Yes, they are co-prime. Write down numerator, and the prime factorization of 125 is 5 to the power 3. Now 5 to the power 3. Now 2 is not there because the theorem says 2 into 5 should be the prime factors of our denominator, but here 2 is not there. Who says 2 is already there? 2 with power 0. So that is, on solving this you will get the value round out 0.10. Hence, if a rational is given to you and you have to check whether it will have a terminating or non-terminating repeating decimal, then you have to first of all change the rational into its lowest term. After that, you have to find the prime factorization of denominator, and if the prime factorization of denominator only have 2 and 5 as its factor, whatever the power it may have, but the prime factor should be only 2 and 5, then you will get a terminating decimal representation. Other than this will always give you a non-terminating repeating. Other than this will give you non-terminating repeating. Thank you.